All right. So next up, we are going to talk about a conundrum. This is a dilemma. There's
Oh,
a
here we
major
go.
dilemma that women today face in the relationship world. Where is your line? What will you take in terms of the man? So I'm not even gonna. I'm gonna just get right into it.
Yeah, bro.
These
Just go
two
ahead and
women.
play the clip.
Yeah, these two women were asked which would they prefer, the millionaire man who is a cheater or the broke man who's loyal. And that's it. That's all I'll say. So we'll go ahead and play what they had to say, and then we will offer our reaction to what they had to say on the back end of the clip.
Would you stay with a cheating millionaire boyfriend or be with a broke loyal guy? Keep it 100, man.
That's a hard one, huh?
Keep it 100.
Broken loyal or cheating?
He's giving the lifestyle. He's amazing, great connection, but from time to time he steps out and cheats.
But is it
It's
cheating?
like an open relationship.
Yeah, is this an
No,
open relationship?
close on your end, open on his end.
That's
Shit.
why can't I have that?
Why he gotta be broke?
This is hard.
Come on now, come on.
Can we phone a friend?
No,
what's
no. Don't look at her. Don't look at her. She can't help you.
So the connection's there.
The connection's there on both sides,
Real.
but he just broke, and the other
Like, I have
guy's
to
giving
take-
you everything you want. He just from time to time won't fuck
I'll
with you
take the
from time to time.
millionaire that cheats.
I'm
whatever.
taking the cheater too.
Yeah.
Because we living good.
Yeah.
At least.
And this shows, y'all. This shows that if a man's value is high enough, he will be shared.
It's not ideal. I'm not happy
She
about
said
it.
it's not ideal.
So I mean, self-snitching is not just in rap nowadays. I'm surprised about how these types of women run to the internet to just out themselves. Like, is this not gonna go viral? And so, and who are the feds in this case? Well, the feds is all the men that's watching this. And they just got indicted for that self-snitching that they just did. Now, the very sad part about this whole thing is that he never qualified broke. Now, he said cheater millionaire, but then they said broke. And each one of them has a different definition of broke. If you extrapolate this across the rest of the population of twisted women who think like this, you'll get varying dollar ranges of what's considered broke. And so the thought started going in their brains of making less than me, making the same amount as me, making slightly more than me is broke. And no, he can't step out. He can't do none of that. Why? He can't afford it. These girls here are saying that millionaire guy, I kind of don't care anyway. But I can put rules on a broke boy. Can't put rules on a millionaire. He'll just cut the money line off. I want my lifestyle still. I still don't care anyway. So, he can go do it. So long as I go to Fiji and you know, the Burmese jungle, wherever these girls trying to travel to and gallivant nowadays. So I'll leave it there. But what about you, bro? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this?
You took the words right out of my mouth. So yeah, self-snitching. First of all, self-snitching of this variety is a gift to real men everywhere. I'm not talking about all men, but real men. Self-snitching of this variety is a gift to real men everywhere. Because it provides you with another piece of anecdotal evidence on how to spot the wrong type of woman. in most cases. And you've alluded in the past on various topics when we've talked about stuff like this to the checklist that you can keep. And like when you're talking to a woman, understand what she's saying when she's speaking in code and know when to check certain things off that would constitute as red flags in terms of this might not be someone that you want to invest your time and energy into. But self-snitching of this variety is a gift to all real men everywhere. That's number one. Number two, these dudes who do these podcasts suck at their jobs. They really do. And it's pissing me off. They need to put me on these shows. They need to put us on these shows because these guys piss me off with the way that they conduct their show. Okay. They're really starting to piss me off. And you know what it is though? Because I don't want to think that they're not intelligent guys because you don't get to the point where you have that role or position where you can be in that seat and host these shows if you don't have any kind of intelligence. So I believe they're smart. Yeah. Which must lead me to believe that the reason why they don't do their job more effectively is because they want to play softball in the event that they might have the opportunity to smash the same women that they bring onto their show. That's the only thing that I can think of, because otherwise, why are you sucking so much at your job? You know how men are. If they see if they are in a position of advantage or power or somewhere in any kind of professional capacity, and they have the opportunity to leverage that position to try and get women, they're going to take advantage of that. Men do that. That's what we do, especially the weak ones. So the only thing that I can think of as to why these guys suck so much at doing these shows is because they are intentionally playing softball so that they cannot alienate these women because they're cute and they look good and they're attractive. So I might be able to get in there. Maybe she'll let me, maybe I can get in there and smash if I play softball enough. Because if you didn't care about that and you were effective at your job, the first thing that you would have done after asking that question is clarified what broke is. So like you took the words right out of my mouth, because when I initially saw that, I said to myself, what is broke? That's where my mind went. My mind went directly to, can you ask them to clarify what broke means? Because if broke means $70,000, $75,000, $80,000 a year, well, then we have a serious. I know, but they didn't ask the question. That's my point. You have to ask the question. You have to ask because the thing. Here's why I'm saying that Here's why I'm saying you have to do your job and ask that question. Because if you don't ask the question and you leave it up to interpretation, you can create a situation in which women like that can seem more reasonable than they actually are. Because if you don't qualify it, then other women who think like them, as well as other men, are going to say, well, women like this are still good in my book because I make what I make, and so I'm not broke. But bro, you don't know what they think of as broke. So it is the responsibility of the person who is hosting that show to ask these chicks to qualify what broke means. Now, I'm in agreement with you. I think that in their minds, if you make under 6 figures a year, you're automatically broke. That's what I think but not every guy not every guy knows that. Not every guy knows that. And furthermore, there are other women who don't necessarily follow that. But if they watch enough of this and the qualification doesn't take place, then they will start to internalize this notion of you can be a millionaire and cheat. And if you're anything less than a millionaire, you don't get the levity of those same privileges. So you have to qualify this stuff. These guys, I don't know, man. That's just the way my mind went to it. If I had hosted that show, I would have grilled them on that. Okay, well, let's talk about what broke means. What does broke mean to you? Let's qualify what broke is, because that's an important piece of this puzzle that is being left out. Now, looking at them and seeing where they are in that kind of show, that kind of platform, that kind of podcast, yeah, these women strike me as hypergamists. Millionaire to them is man with money. Less than millionaire is, we're going to have to evaluate this. And if you make less than six figures, you're broke by default. That's what I think those women believe. But is it 100% clear? No, I'm speculating. You have to qualify this so that you can eliminate the opportunity for women like this to even remotely seem reasonable. And when you don't qualify it, you leave it somewhat up to interpretation. And you shouldn't leave anything up to interpretation. You got to air this out, expose them. Yeah, they're self-snitching, but to what degree? You got to expose them. And I'm tired of these weak-ass dudes on these podcasts not doing their jobs good enough. They're not. They're not doing their jobs good enough. If that was me and I was on that show, I would have been like, let's talk about what's broke. And then after they gave their ridiculous answers, I would have fried them on why they're unreasonable in terms of how they see the world, life, and their expectations. But if you don't qualify it, they can't be held responsible for their ridiculous delusions of grandeur. So that's where I stand with it. These women, like I say all the time, are a dime a dozen. I am so desensitized to this type of rhetoric that when I hear it nowadays, it leaves me unaffected. I'm unmoved by this kind of stuff because I hear it all the time. All you have to do is go on any dating and relationship podcast where the host is a male and they bring on female guests. You'll hear this all the time. Modern women say this kind of stuff all day, every day. I'm unaffected by this. Rather, I am holding some of these podcasts more responsible for being more effective and to do your job better. That's what I say. Because that's what pissed me off about this. Bro, ask them what broke means. Ask them. Don't be a simp. Ask them what broke means. Okay? Seriously.
Oh, man, you letting it fly right now.
I'm just saying. Because I'm tired of this. All of this stuff. And I'll mention them because I don't give a damn. We in Miami, whatever this show is, Fresh and Fit, they do it sometimes too. Let's qualify this stuff. Kevin Samuels at least used to get into the nuance and ask the questions that need to be asked. These other weaklings out here who are slaves to pussy, they can't help themselves but to play softball because they want to be in these women's good graces. I'm tired of this. And if this channel ever gets to the point, I'm on one right now. Just give me one more minute, okay? Like if this channel ever gets to the point where we are privileged enough to host this on a wider scale, where we can do stuff like this, you best believe I'm going to be the guy who's playing hardball. And I don't care if you don't like it. Don't come on the show if you don't like it, because you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And when it's over, you're going to respect me more for it than the guys who play softball. Go ahead.
Listen. I hear all of that. But look, bro, we're behind the double. When these guys do this, we're behind the double window or mirror or whatever. Like when the feds is doing their interrogation, all right, we're on the back end behind the glass viewing these guys doing this. Now you got good cop and you got bad cop. Good cop, he brings the donuts, the McDonald's, gets them to open up a little bit. Hey, let's talk. Come on, it's all fair, it's all love. When they feel, and especially with moderns, and when you're dealing with them and you're on their trail, they have keen sense of awareness. So hey, whoa, you're getting too close to my thought box. You too hot on my trail. Now there's some of them that's just gonna flat out, hey, I'm a whore and I love it. But the majority of them, still feel some levels of shame. And so if you come at them a little too aggressively, they might, scurry away and not give as many open and honest. I appreciate these young ladies for being honest. And I think the only reason why they were honest is because there was some candy involved. It wasn't a bitter truth about to come hit them across the head.
It doesn't have to be aggressive. You can be tact about the way that you do it, but you should be more. That's how I see it. That's just my
fair.
opinion. That's
I,
my
I
opinion. Be more effective with how you hold. What do these women have to lose by being asked a follow-up question? They have nothing to lose. It's not like it's not as though answering the question of what qualifies as broke is going to compromise their ability to get what they want on the dating market. It's not. They can answer the question as truthfully as they want. When they leave that show, they're still going to get the same attention from men that they've been getting. They're not losing anything. And so I'm not saying they should be cognizant of that. I'm saying these dudes who host these shows should think about this from time to time and understand the pros and cons. They have nothing to lose, bro. Okay. If they answered, yeah, you got to make $500,000 a year, that's what, if you make, let's say, for example, and I know I cut you off, and I'm really done with this. This is the last thing I'm going to say.
Go, man.
Let's say, for example, he did qualify that.
Uh-huh.
Okay, well, let's say he asked the girl on the left, okay, well, what is broke to you? And let's say her response was, I don't know, if you make under 300,000, I kind of feel like you're on the broke side. And he was like, oh, okay. Now, first of all, it's out there, so everybody sees what she qualifies as broke. But let's say that the camera stopped rolling and the girl wanted to hang out with them and go out and have fun on their tab that night. And he felt like if he did it, he might be able to smash. Who the hell cares that that's what her answer was? Who cares? So him being in that situation and her being in that situation to give the answer, neither one of them have anything to lose in that scenario. So when there's less to lose, there's less incentive to not go the extra mile to at least provide a little more context to the conversation. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. And I'll say this. So I appreciate it, and this is why I appreciated the open-endedness of that question, because it allowed them to spin wheels in their brain of what they consider broke. And it's the regular guy. It's just a regular guy. And the regular, average, everyday man is broke to them. So each one of them have a different dollar amount. Whether they said 300,000 is or less is broke, or if they said 70, 40, or 50K is broke. Either way, it ain't a million. So the reason why I appreciated the open-endedness of this is because there's a mythology with these modern women. There's a common theme going on with all of this stuff. And if they have modern woman syndrome, as these young ladies have, then what these guys were able to extract from this, because if they gave dollar amounts, it would have been specific to these women. But as I mentioned in my opening statement, that each woman has a varying level of what she considers broke. Even though these two are friends, they're going to have two different dollar amounts. So I don't need a dollar amount. That would have helped these young ladies. We would have figured out their thing. But the mythology and the open-endedness of it is your definition of broke, ma'am. And he's a broke or he's a millionaire. In either case, the key part of this is that if you got the bag, they'll deal with you being unfaithful. And so Millionaire was qualified, but the key to this mythology is if you're pulling in enough to support a lifestyle, then you can do whatever you want, because I want to live a lifestyle anyway. And when you're dealing with moderns, you're also dealing with manipulators, cheaters themselves. So even though the guy qualified it and said, nah, he can do his thing and you can't, which one would you still deal with? In the back of their mind still, I'm still feeling like they'll say, well, I could still slip out and do my own thing, kind of thing. The point overall is that the mythology of modern woman syndrome is that Hey, bro, how much you make? Great. How much does your girl make? Oh, okay. Around the same amount. Oh, she make more than you? Let's stick with the same amount. If y'all make around the same amount of money and she's modern, she's looking to replace you. Unless you're on some wild ass trajectory where she can see the end of the tunnel and can do the math and add it up. No, I'll stick around for this. If you're not on that trajectory and you're making the same kind of money as she's making, a little bit more than she's making, that's not enough to support my mimosas in the jungle of the Burmese. So I can't deal with you, bro. So I've got modern woman syndrome. I'm infected. This won't work. She's going to either self-sabotage the situation, so you broke it off, or she's going to break it off because she's bored. Either way, I still feel as though that these young ladies here said a mouthful when they said, nah, broke guys follow my rules. I follow rich dudes' rules. And that's the whole mythology right there. And so, and this is why I said a couple pods ago, where you have to be dominant, period, if you're a man. You have to be physically dominant, sexually dominant, financially dominant, intellectually dominant. They want to follow your lead. And so they don't respect the man that they feel as though they're more dominant in one or varying categories. They're going to lie, this is so unattractive. They want to forever feel like the cool person. I remember, and I'll say this, when I was a kid and my brothers was picking me up from daycare school, you know, my mom always picked me up from school, you know, but the days my brother picked me up, I felt cool. I felt extra cool. They had cool cars and well, cooler than my mom. Sorry, mom. And I'm sitting here in my brother's car. Hey, don't eat while you in here. All this stuff. He's playing music loud. And I'm like, this is so cool. You know, he's my older brother. I look up to the guy and I'm having a great time. Women want to forever feel like they're in a car with a man that's cooler than them. He makes more money than them. He's taller than them. They want to stay in a level of admiration. And if you're making 5% more money than her, there's nothing to admire about that. If you're making less than her, bro, hang it up. If she's modern. So I appreciated the open-endedness of this. I didn't need a specific dollar amount. I appreciated the fact that it was no dollar amount, because if he qualified it, they could have played lowball and got up under something. Or yeah, well, let's say broke is, you know, blah, 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 thousand. And they were like, So the real question here, and I hear what you're saying, but the real question here is, and we're hearing it, we're hearing $1 million, so 7 figures. What's the price? How much do you cost? Modern women are for sale. So I'll put up with anything you do so long as you make enough money. Now, a woman with more traditional values, standards, and things of that nature, and she believes in monogamy like these women claim they do, then it doesn't matter how much the man's making if he's disrespecting her, according to her rules. So these women don't have rules. They're anarchists. They'll do whatever, wherever the wind's blowing. And if the guy's making enough, they can be bought. And so modern women can be bought. And those things have a word. All right. Just because you don't have an OnlyFans page or you're not walking the strip, you are indeed in that profession if you are willing to compromise moral integrity for a paycheck. So, and not even a paycheck, just a lifestyle change better than yours. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, man, I appreciate the mythology. I appreciate the self-snitching. Of course, the Godfather would have tore into these young ladies. But these guys don't have that kind of pull. They're broke. So they gotta play relatively compared to Millionaire Man. So they gotta play this game. And I'm not justifying all the way. You don't have to be making cash to talk to women a specific way. But who knows the scenario of this situation? I just really think that these young ladies were so giggly and so whatever. And I definitely would have played them up a little bit, but I would have eventually got to the point of dollar amounts. But this little snippet here, yeah, I'll take it because I'll add that to my archives of modern women thinking. So shout out to my traditional ladies out there that are still holding it down traditionally. All right. So this is not applying to you. It's applying to these I don't want to use any foul language. Let's just stick with the moderns, with the modern women of the evening. How about that? So
Yeah, I think and this is a theory of mine, but I do think that women like this, there's a range of what they all think of as broke. I know that I know that the dollar amount specifically would differ, but generally speaking, I think that if you took 20, 30, 40 modern women and you asked them that question, there's going to be a general distribution of what that range is. And so I don't think there's any harm in asking for that qualification. I know you weren't suggesting that they shouldn't ask it. You were saying that you appreciated it being open-ended. But I don't like that. I feel like you should ask them to qualify it because it gives you insight on what it is that you're talking. It gives you insight on what you're working with because they might have different specific numbers. But I think most modern women are going to be operating within the same range. They're all going to say the same, whatever that range is. So I don't know if it's from this to this or from this to this, whatever the range is, their number from what I've seen is going to be within that range. And so I would have preferred some qualification because otherwise this just looked like I said, they were playing softball with them. They were playing softball with them because they looked good. I guarantee you that if those women were less physically attractive, those guys might have been more inclined to qualify what broke means. Pretty girls get away with a lot because of how they look.
That's fair.
And I think that is unfortunate. And furthermore, like I said, these women are cold-blooded. They don't give a damn. They will tell you what you want to know if you ask them because they stand to lose nothing by being truthful. They are not going to be able to not get the attention of quote unquote high value men who have a propensity for being unfaithful just by answering those questions honestly. Them same dudes are still gonna holler at them and still gonna be in their DMs and still gonna try to get at them, even if they snitched on themselves on a podcast. They stand nothing to lose. So what's the incentive of telling the truth?
All right. So this, I'll say this. When we decide to do this, okay, I'm playing a good cop. All right.
Fine.
So let me handle a good cop
Fine.
question.
Go ahead.
I'll bring
Go
I'll
ahead.
bring the McDonald's. No tricking, of course, figuratively speaking, right? I'll bring the McDonald's, all right, and the donuts, and I'll try to open them up, and then then you could come in because when you use the words grill, I was like, damn, bro, you can saute them. I'm thinking
I'm gonna be nice about it. I'm tact. I'm gonna be nice about it. The reason why I got aggressive on this video is because I was really talking to dudes who was doing the hosting. I wasn't talking to the women.
No,
I was talking to dude. I was talking to dude. I wasn't really talking to them. I expect them to do this and say this. That's my anticipation. I expect that. I know that it's less than $1 millionaire means you're broke. I know that. But you got to ask the question. That's just me. Whatever.
That's fair.
I'm done. I'm over this. I'm over this, man. I'm done with this stuff.
That was a good one.
Give us our podcast. If you watching this video and you are a media outlet and you are looking for thought-provoking, passionate content creators, look no further. Hit us up. Give us our show. We won't disappoint. And I'm done.
Hit,
That's
and
it.
hit that like and subscribe while you at it.
Subscribe to the channel too.
Come on.
Forgot about that.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.